In this video, I am going to share with you the last VHS tapes I will ever buy in 2024. What's going on, everybody? First of all, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who is a subscriber. I appreciate you so much. Over the Christmas holidays, the channel hit 100 subscribers. We're a little over that now. My goal was to hit 100 subscribers before the end of 2024. And it's not all about subscribers. This is about sharing my passion about collecting with the world, with you. I got a nice stack of VHS tapes. A lot of these I found at a thrift shop in a small hill country town, and I got a good price. How does 25 cents sound? Now, most of these, the very final three, are personal grails that I have been trying to find in really good condition. I've come across them before, but never like this. There's one tape that is still in the mail, and I don't know if it's going to be here before the end of the year. So that tape might actually be the very first tape of 2025. I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But for this video, let's get started. The first tape I want to show you is a classic. It's a Christmas classic. It's one of the rare sequels that is almost as good, and in some people's opinion, it might be better than the original. It's Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. I love this movie so much, and I actually thought I already had this on VHS when I found this. Look at this, 25 cents. Can you believe it? I thought I already had it, and then I checked my app that I keep my database with all my tapes on, and I realized I didn't have it, so I had to pick it up. This is such a cool movie. It's so good, so classic. It's almost the best. VHS is almost the best format for this. Come at me, Blu-ray bros. Just kidding. Don't, because I don't fight. I'm a collector, not a fighter. So the first one, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York. Great film. All right, next up, kind of keeping with the Christmas holiday vacation theme kind of thing going on. This is another tape that I thought I had, but it turned out that I had one of the other movies in this series, and that's National Lampoon's European Vacation. Turned out I just had Christmas Vacation and not European Vacation, and that's another reason why I think it's important to keep a log of the tapes that you collect. It prevents you from buying things that maybe you already have. It helps you figure out the tapes that you need, because it's not hoarding if you know what you have, right? All right, next up, this is a classic. This is not as good as one of the first films. It's Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein is an absolute classic, but this one is also, this one's really good. I love the Universal monsters, and I love Abbott and Costello, and there's a whole series of films where the two worlds collide, and it's so good, so good. Got to pick that one up. I dropped tapes. Next up, it's Billy Crystal's City Slickers.
That is the toughest man I've ever seen in my life. Did you see how leathery he was? He was like a saddlebag with eyes. Over now!
I thought I had this one too, but I didn't. So now I have it. Boom, got it in the collection. As you know, big fan of the pulp heroes, that kind of, I don't know, that vibe from that era, like the Indiana Jones, the Doc Savage, the Phantom. This is kind of, I feel like this movie was a response to the success of Indiana Jones. And this is I believe the sequel. This is Jewel of the Nile, starring Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas, and Danny DeVito. And they're at it again. That's what it says on the box right there. All right, so for our next film on VHS, it is a Guillermo del Toro film. It's one of his first major films that he almost didn't really get credit for. He honestly disowned it for a while because Miramax and the people running Miramax, those guys, were giving him a hard time, saying it wasn't scary enough. And then it took Mira Sorvino, who's in the film. It's Mimic, by the way. I was kind of burying the lead. It's Mimic. She kind of stood up and was, because she had just won an Oscar or was nominated for one, and she stood up and was like, no, like, if you don't let him do what he wants to do with this film, I'm out. And then she was dating Quentin Tarantino at the time, and so he also stepped up because he was doing a lot of films with Miramax. And anyways, he did eventually get to do a director's cut of this, but here we go, Mimic. There's a bunch of sequels. This is the only one that's worth watching, in my opinion. I don't have a ton of Christmas movies, but I came across this one, had never heard of it. Apparently it's huge in England. John Lithgow is in this movie, barely. And he says that he didn't think this movie was going to be any good. But then he said, you know, if I had a nickel for every time someone in England said it's their favorite Christmas movie, he'd be even richer than he is, I guess. We're talking about Santa Claus the movie.
Every year, the magic happens again.
It certainly should be.
It's basically the origin story of Santa Claus. It's a little cheesy. It's got Dudley Moore. On the front, it's got Burgess Meredith listed as in the film. And he has 8 lines and is in for just a 1 or 2 scenes. 1 scene, maybe. Burgess Meredith was the Penguin in the original 1966 Batman.
I only make the umbrellas. What they do after they leave here is hardly my affair, now is it?
And a bunch of other stuff, but that's the only thing I know him from. But anyway, Santa Claus the movie, here you go. It's the final 3 VHS tapes that I'll collect in 2024. The first one, I have been looking for a really good copy of this. I have it on Blu-ray, I have it on DVD, but I don't have it on VHS. Well, now I do. And we're talking about the Dolph Lundgren classic, Masters of the Universe. Look at this box. It is in such good shape. Only the universe could hold adventure this big. But anyways, there it is right there. There's rumors every single year, I feel like, about a Hollywood remake of or like a reboot of the He-Man Masters of the Universe, live action. Right now there's one. Idris Elba is attached as like Man-at-Arms. Anyways, it may happen, it may not. I really hope it does. I think it's a really cool franchise and IP to have. So we'll have to just kind of wait and see. The next film that I have been looking for a really good copy of is a classic starring Jane Fonda. It's Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy. This is in great condition. And it's kind of that example that I look for the tapes that are as close to their original release, if not the original VHS release, as possible. This has the design and slipcover that I was always looking for. So love the artwork, love this film. I'm so glad it's part of my collection in 2024. So I already have 2 of the next films, the original, the sequel, and now I have the third one, and the third one is so different, so much fun. It is an absolute classic, and it's a Sam Raimi film. I'm trying to see if I can give you enough clues. Bruce Campbell's in it. It's Army of Darkness.
This is my boomstick!
Yeah. So I've got Evil Dead 2. Now I've got Army of Darkness. This was another really hard one to find in really good condition. I know that this is not an original issue, but man. I gotta pause really quick because I was editing and the mail came. This is the very final video cassette tape for 2024. Let's open it up and make sure it's what I think it is. I just peeked. It is. So the very last tape of 2024 is Party Monster. Seth Green, Macaulay Culkin. 2 movies with Macaulay Culkin. This one is a pretty difficult tape to find. I'm also looking for But I'm a Cheerleader. I saw it one time and I passed on it, and I've regretted it ever since. So pretty pumped to have this now in the collection to be the final VHS tape of 2024. Without further ado, let's go back to Chris from like a few hours ago. This is a really fun hobby that doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. So I hope that if you've been on the fence about jumping into VHS collecting, 2025 could be your year to do that. I have a video about tips that will help you start a VHS collection, and those tips are kind of based on the things that I learned. So if you want to, you can watch them up there. I hope you subscribe and do all the things. I would appreciate it. This is going to be a really fun year to collect in 2025, and I'm so glad that you're going along with me. So remember to be kind to one another and collect. Bye.